lesson. This is class number 2. We just concluded the first portion of us demonstrating the exercise of the melon head and integrating various basic to intermediate selection methods to get the file all completed. You can watch the previous video for that. The second half here is to demonstrate the upcoming movie poster project, which I will also show you some student samples. I like to do this from one generation to the next to see what's expected for the next assignment. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to that segment now. I'm going to share my screen. You finished the first assignment already, the color abstract exercise. The next one I'll give you next week is the photo restoration. Okay, there's a few more following that one, so I'll talk about that next week. I would suggest you kind of start the project at this point. I know we just covered selections and stuff. Now, we're also going to approach the movie poster project as well, how to start it next week. For now, what I want you to do is gather ideas. Maybe perhaps do some thumbnails on a piece of paper, drawing thumbnails, coming up with concepts and ideas. This is very, very imperative to making any type of digital design. You should always consider doing a thumbnail first. So thumbnail draft for a movie poster. I'm just going to show you what one looks like. I'm Googling right now. All right. So basically, even if you can't draw, I mean, you can really do some thumbnails of your concepts before you start anything. I'm not going to ask for you to submit this, but if this is something that's going to help you put something together, just to get some ideas done, consider that, okay? Some thumbnails are always good. If you want to start playing with the digital environment, you can do that also. So let's talk about the movie poster requirements. So you're going to be designing a poster. So I know I put movie poster, but if you want to do like an event poster, I will also accept that, okay? So event or movie that might be showcasing in the near future. You will utilize all of the main Photoshop Creative Cloud application tools, especially the ones we covered today, for image editing and background textures alongside other design methods to complement the overall presentation. You may also incorporate Adobe Illustrator for logos, type treatment, and page layout design. So if you do want to do something more illustrative, you can. You just have to make sure you bring it into Photoshop. I will also demonstrate some of those crossover techniques later on as well. So basically, check out the criteria points below to get a better expectation of what's required. This is your criteria, a minimum of 5 different image sources, theme related. Okay, so like the way we did the melon today, we ended up with like 10, okay? So that alone surpasses this criteria. But when I say minimum of 5, means minimum of 5. You can do as much as 50 if you like. Not always necessarily meaning more layers better, but you're demonstrating more techniques as you show me more layers that you're investing in. Technical uses include, so I'm going to cover some blend modes and layer masks in the upcoming lessons. For now, it's more like selection techniques along with blend modes, layer masks, and quick masks, which you're going to learn all of these in the upcoming lessons. Other suggested items may include layer styles and effects, and of course, there's lessons for that as well. So, but more importantly, to get these image sources in there, you're going to use the selections you learned today, okay? So maybe I should actually just update this quickly here. So various selection tools and techniques, right?
So basically a collage, so we can
That's right.
based on any movie.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And even if you like a movie that you watched in the past, you can recreate a poster. That's also okay. Because sometimes this movies, there's a lot of new ones coming out. I understand. sometimes there's no good movies, like lately I don't think I've seen too many good ones out there. So if you go we'll look at like some of the more movie posters, okay, you can see some of the more popular ones are, quite Photoshop indulged, like look at this Empire Strikes Back, for example, eh? Like, that's an older one, but the Joker, okay, the Batman posters, these are all Photoshop, um, you know, a type of designs that they incorporated with 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 their digital production. Dungeons and Dragons, right? This is so Photoshop right here. The Black Panther, okay, a lot of the Marvel movies and stuff, right? See, they're all Photoshop, so it's a great opportunity for you to demonstrate your Photoshop skills to make something like this. Even something like this, right? Although it's more like the white space and stuff, you can definitely integrate some Photoshop techniques, right? Now I'm going to show you some student examples, and do challenge yourself to do something more montage based. Because if you do something, like this, I mean, yeah, you can make it simple, but then your Photoshop skills might be part of this design up here. So whatever it is, make sure it's got the Photoshop influence behind it, right? There's lots of opportunity for you to do this, I'm sure. I can keep showing you, other movie poster ideas, but more and more you can see what I'm aiming towards, right? See? So how do we achieve this? Well, it's very similar to what we did today. Okay, copy and paste, different selection methods. Next week, we're going to integrate some other methods with copy and paste, with other documents to merge documents together. I do have a hand that's up from Pratik. Pratik, go ahead if you have a question. Does Pratik have a question? No? Okay, maybe you just left the hand up there. No problems. Anybody else? Right. So, like I was saying, you want to incorporate as many Photoshop methods as you're learning to get this done. In result, you will have something like this, and that'll be a nice portfolio piece for you. Um, Now, this is due in 1 week and 6 days, so I don't think that's appropriate here, to be honest with you. I wanted to give you some more time for this. Um, so this is going to be due probably in 2 weeks. So it'll be due on the Monday, okay? So this is due in 2 weeks. So by next week, we'll do some other stuff that you're going to learn. And then the week after that, this will be due in 2 weeks. I think, hold on a second here. That's because we did have a late start, so I might do, let's say today's the 20th, 27th. Yeah, the 3rd. Let's leave it 2 weeks for now. And if I think there's more time that we have to add, I'm definitely going to do an extension for this one. It is a main project, so I do want to make sure you have sufficient time to get it done. This week, this semester started awkwardly because we started like on a Wednesday. So my first class should have been Monday with you guys. We started with Wednesday with another class. So that means we're like half a week kind of in the middle. So that's why the due dates might have to be switched, but no problem, no worries. This is something that we're aware of and we're gonna work with you guys, okay? So let's aim for 2 weeks from now. And if I feel like there's some more time I'm gonna give you, we'll extend it. Okay? Let's leave that alone for now. All right, so various selection tools and techniques, blend modes, layer mask, quick mask. This is some of the stuff you can include. You don't necessarily have to do all of this, but I like to see as much as you can demonstrate it, which goes to your technical, skill mark too, right? There's creative, technical, and there's the criteria. Layer styles and effects, these are just suggestions, of course. The color mode is CMYK because a lot of posters get printed even today. Even we live in a digital age, you still see stuff printed and mounted on boards and stuff. So it's good to learn how to do a pre-press setup. I will take you through the pre-press composition too, for production standpoint, how to create a CMYK poster and how to do the bleeds and the crop marks and all the good stuff. Resolution is 300 dpi. This way it's going to be good for print. The size, I made it smaller than your poster size because poster can go anywhere from 22, 24 inches up to 28 and 30 inches in width and height. This is 11 by 17, which means you can print this on an average printer, like a bigger format, and you can have a nice portfolio. Now, keep in mind, if you want to make it bigger, you can because it's 300 dpi. So this 17 by 11 can easily be, 24 by 14. And you're not going to compromise that much quality. So that's why I went this size here. It's called a tabloid size. The file management will be Photoshop, and you're going to convert it to a PDF document to compress the file size. So I'm going to also show you how that works. I'm going to delete the Talent House because it's done. Okay. No more Talent House. So if you see some other competitive resources, you can please let me know as you're maybe, more in tune with that stuff if you're engaged in any type of competitions. Otherwise, I like to keep this as a project. And there's your criteria breakdown. I think 15 is the mark. Good luck and have fun. As my former teacher always used to say, I kept that from his quote. Like I said, this is 2 weeks from now. Okay. So you have plenty of time to get it done. If by next week you haven't started, I suggest you kind of get things rolling because you don't want to leave things till last minute, right? And the way we did the melon exercise before this video is how you want to approach this, okay? From copying and pasting different layers, but I will show you the process of setting up the poster. Maybe I'll do a one right now just to keep it in line with this video. So what I would do is if I was to make a movie poster, of course, go to Photoshop first. Just gonna minimize this. I would create a new document to start with. Let's say we're doing a movie poster about the melon head, okay? So I make a new document. And here I'm going to set up my print size. So I go to print because my intent is to print the movie poster. And I'm going to make it tabloid, 11 by 17. This is it's one of the biggest sizes available. Legal size is more like for documentation and other purposes, contracts and stuff. Letter size is the most common. It's 8.5 by 11. It's what most of the pages you see that are out there, especially in North America. In Europe, they use like the A4 standard. So that's the difference between Europe and North America. In other countries like Asia and stuff, I'm sure they use a mix of both. Tabloid it's like having two of these side by side. So that's why it's 11 by 17. I would go with this one. Keep it portrait because it's going to be like a, vertical type of orientation. 11 by 17. Resolution should be 300 pixels per inch. Okay. So make sure from print settings, tabloid, double check your configuration. The color mode, I'll stick with CMYK because RGB is like red, green, and blue, and CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, black. The intent is to have it printed and color separated. Okay. And we're going to go with a white background for now. We're going to click create, and that's how we start the movie poster. We'll save it right away. And this could be like your template on your computer. And I'll answer your questions in a moment. I saw a few hands up. Let me just quickly do my demonstration, and I'm going to answer all your questions. Movie poster setup, okay? Onto the desktop, Photoshop document, save. So now that I saved the blank template for the movie poster, all I'm going to do now is integrate some design elements, images, and things like that. Very easily, I can just open something that I did before, like this melon head, for example. I can even go file, place, um, place embedded. There's also two placement options, linked and embedded. Embedded used to be the default. There was no two different options. There was only one place, and that's it. Now there's two because if you have it linked, it'll rely on that source. So be careful when you do that. I actually don't recommend it until like later on you get more comfortable with the program. Just use embedded for now because this way it'll be part of the document. You don't have to worry about the extension and where it's located. So always go place embedded. I'm going to select this melon head that we just did, right? And there it goes. When you place something, you always have the option to scale it, crop it, rotate it, do all kinds of stuff. When you press enter, you acknowledge the placement and location. And if you press Command T again, you can just basically keep doing this back and forth. Okay. And then, of course, you implement some other parts into the movie poster, right? You're going to put some titles. I'm going to cover the text tool another day, but just as a beginner, you can click on the type tool. And with the type tool, you don't click and drag. That's like what you do in InDesign. You do that for paragraphs and bigger chunks of text. What you want to do in Photoshop with the text tool, especially when you do movie posters, is you just go click and then type, movie poster title, right? And then you go to the move tool. You simply select that. You can even do Command or Control T, make the title bigger, and you position it there. And you keep building the movie poster based on your, creative criteria. And then you're gonna have your layers here. We're gonna create folders and groups and organize this better and get some creative stuff happening. Okay, so we're gonna have a designated date for that. I'll teach you some other creative things you can include. For now, this is how you start your movie poster project. Okay, so now let me show you what other students have done based on the same type of criteria level like you have. So I'm gonna just answer some questions first before I go ahead and do that part. Is the screen recording? Yes, it is. Okay, good. You're sharing your screen because sometimes it closes down and I gotta do it all over again. All right. Can you guys see my screen okay? Yes? Give me thumbs
Yes.
up. Perfect. Okay. So, Risky, go ahead. And Matson, you go after.
Yeah, I have a question. Does the image source need to be the non-copyrighted that we are allowed to use, right?
Yes and no. You're not professionally doing this to submit it, so you can get away with
Okay,
it. I'm not gonna tell on you, okay? Because look, people did anime, like let's say Attack on Titans or some other shows that are popular.
okay,
You're not gonna recreate these things, okay? You're gonna get them on the internet. So unless you're not professionally publishing this stuff, no one's gonna come after you guys. So it's okay for like having fun and learning Photoshop. But if you're professionally making a poster, of course you're gonna get the sources given to you, and you're gonna use professional photography and stuff, right?
yeah,
I'm always gonna recommend you use, like, Unsplash and Pixabay and stuff. If you have to Google some images, if it helps you, because a lot of the movies, like let's say Marvel, all these characters are already online. You can go ahead and do that. That's fine. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
Very good. Good question. Okay, Madsen, go ahead.
Well, now another question came out with this. What about if we create this as an assignment, but also we want to share it like in social media for fun? Is this still okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're again, you're having fun. You're an individual. You're not a corporation.
Yeah.
Once you start making money, think about it. Once you start making money, and you're making money from someone else's work, those people are gonna want to get paid too. So unless you publish your work and you get some kind of an income from it, then there's a legal obligation, right? So be careful with social media because it's kind of out there. But if you're having fun, lots of people do stuff with celebrities, and nobody goes after people for fun
Yeah, for sure.
projects.
The way
Okay.
that you show how to place the image is basically the way that we are gonna use for all the images that if we want to blend the 5 images you were talking about, right?
Yeah, and there's other methods I'll show you as well. But for now, that's what I was able to deliver. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank
You
you.
know, next week I'll do another demonstration of copying and pasting and placing, and there's many ways. Okay, so I'll cover some more stuff. Okay,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
you're very welcome. All right, any other questions? All right, now would you like to let's close off the lesson by showing you some student examples. How does that sound? Do you guys want to see some student examples? Let me see hands up who wants to see student examples. All right, I figured for a second I was like, nobody wants to see student examples, but I figured all of you do. Excellent. Let's go ahead and do that part. So I'm going to put this one away, and we'll get to the. Let me show you I'll show you my last cohorts that I had last semester, which was in September. So let's go to my courses 2024, and that's going to be fall movie posters. Most of them were finished. Some of them there were kind of like submitted and they gave me another part to it. So if some of them don't look completed for you, it's because maybe that was the reason. But these are I had a pretty big section last semester. I'll go some of them with you, not maybe not all of them, but just to show you. This is what some of the students did. So this is one called Jacktar Uprising by Netflix. So you can see what they did there. If I open this in Photoshop, I can show you the layers that are included if I have the right file. Right. So you can see how there's a lot of layers in here, right? I can take this thing apart and show you how it was constructed from different backgrounds, different titles, different things. That's how you put this whole thing together, integrating various selection techniques, quick masks, layer masks, and things like that. So I'm not going to open each file to show you, but just to kind of give you an example of what it looks like from the preview standpoint and what it looks like from the Photoshop, you can see both. If it looks a little faded, don't worry because it's CMYK. It's meant to look a little like that so you can print it properly and it's optimized for the printers. This is an event poster that someone did. It wasn't really a movie poster. It was a World Vision color run for 2025 poster. So she had some fun with this, and that's okay. There's another one over here. Lonely Road, it's called. A lot of the Photoshop techniques were incorporated in this silhouette here. It was fulfilled with these layers techniques. Nicely done. So there's another one over here called a lighthouse. It looks a little plain with the black and white, but there's a lot of layer integration with this. But my comment for this one was definitely to emphasize a lot of the the fundamentals and the design concepts, and some color would be nice as well. So try to add colors. I know there's a lot of black and white posters out there, but color just makes it look that much better. Here's another one here, a scary one called Wednesday. There's some fun with some animations and stuff in 3D. This was made up, I think. Story of the Forgotten Toys. I don't know if that's a real Toy Story movie. This was the wrong format. I know Netflix does stuff horizontal, but try to keep it within the vertical format, okay? Okay, movie marathon for Star Wars. And again, these are the wrong formats. You want to make sure you stick with the vertical, okay? I have a lot of soccer fans in my classes, so if you have to do like a soccer poster, I think they made a movie of Cristiano Ronaldo, so that's the poster there. Okay, there's a classic one here from Star Wars. Jurassic Park. Some of them, by me doing the space bar, it doesn't give you all the features, so I do apologize if I'm not showing you everything, but you can see I want you to get the gist of it, right? There's another one here. I think not Nosferatu is out right now. The other Dracula movie. So I've seen that one, but this is a original Dracula. And this one again, you can't see it unless if I open it up, I can show you what some of these look like in case they kind of didn't appear properly. But this is what the poster looks like, right? So you can see here, everything is. Right? There's a lot of lighting in here, a lot of the collage, a lot of layer elements that are supplemented to make this design. Okay, you can see here the layers, how it was all done. All right. So I just want to quickly show you. Sometimes the previews don't do justice, and I wanted to show you that part. Alrighty. I went over those. Here's another one here. There's so much abundance of Photoshop use here you can include in these projects. A lot of my students have fun doing this because who doesn't like a good movie, right? You can always indulge in some really good creativity by exploiting different methods and coming up with your own poster design. Here's the Kingsman movie. there. Okay. So, I mean, you can do any movie, any theme that you're into, you can make it happen. Okay. So, these are some of the samples. I got more samples I can show you within the folders, but I think I showed you enough for you to get an understanding of what the expectation is. A lot of them give me a PSD and a PDF, so you can do both. Okay. You get the idea, right? So the movie poster, and you can pretty much make it on any theme, and that's your first project. All right. How many of you already having an idea right now in your heads? Hands up. Let me see. All right. I see a few of you already. Very good. So what you do is you exploit that idea. I will right away go to, let's say I'm doing a movie poster, and I'm gonna, with the stuff I'm picking now, use those. Let me just show you my websites here that I'm, oopsie daisy. I gave you the links here for these websites under resources here. The Pixabay, okay, so you can use that to look for images, vegetable. Let's say I'm doing my vegetable posters here with right? I can definitely include some of this for these images, and this could be like my background for some of my, movie posters that I'm doing. If you want to download it for free, you got to click here. They give you limited sizes. You might have to start a free trial. If it gives you this, you can skip it, go to the next one. But explore some of these sources here to get images. If you want to use Google and stuff, be more strategic. So if you look for vegetables on Google, I would go to under tools or more. Sorry, tools, size, large. This will give you the high resolution images. So if I was going for something like this, and I'm going to save this image, to my desktop, I guess. Now this could be like my background for my poster. So if I go place, again, embedded, there we go, rotate it. Right? So this is how I would integrate backgrounds and images of different types, right? So this is how you can kind of create your montage. I'm just giving you the workflow basically, right? So placing images from the internet, saving images as a JPEG, PNGs, most formats Photoshop can understand, so not to worry there, okay? So if you have to Google, use the Unsplash, use the other sources I shared with you. If you have some other image sources, you can. If you're a photographer, I always encourage people to take their own photos. But Pexels, Unsplash, Pixabay, those are the main three. If you have some other ones, go ahead. And that's how you would do this. Go ahead, Prince. Prince, do you have a question? Or you maybe left your hand up from before. No worries. All right. Any other questions? All right. So if you don't have any questions, I wish you all a good night. I'll see you in the next class. Hope you guys had fun today, learned a lot of new things. And we'll continue the next class, same time, same place next week. And I'll cover some other techniques for you to include in your poster projects. All right. Thanks again. And I'll see you in the next class. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.